Football is not always fair. Sometimes everything built over years is reduced to a single moment. And in that moment, no matter how great you are, football shows no mercy. This is how Roberto Baggio's story ended. World Cup final, Italy versus Brazil, and one penalty kick. Roberto Baggio was not just a footballer. He was Italy's hope. Quiet, humble, but when the ball touched his feet, football spoke. He had technique, he had intelligence, he had composure. But most of all, Roberto Baggio never hid from responsibility. During the 1994 World Cup, he carried Italy on his shoulders. At the start of the tournament, Italy was close to elimination. Then Baggio appeared. Every single time it mattered. Round of 16 against Nigeria, a goal in extra time. Quarterfinal against Spain, a last-minute goal. Semi-final against Bulgaria, 2 goals, a ticket to the final. If Italy reached the final, there was only one reason: Roberto Baggio.
But there was a truth no one wanted to talk about. Baggio was injured. In the days before the final, he was suffering from a serious muscle injury. Doctors warned him. The coaching staff hesitated. But for Baggio, this was not a choice. This was a World Cup final, the biggest moment a footballer could ever experience. And despite the pain, Baggio played. July 17, 1994. Pasadena, 90,000 people in the stands, but there was no beautiful football on the pitch. There was tension, there was fear, there was exhaustion. Italy defended deep. Brazil refused to take risks. 90 minutes passed, no goals. Extra time came and went, still no goals. And then came football's cruelest ending, penalties. Penalties are not a lottery for footballers, they are a trial. And sometimes that trial changes a life forever. The penalties began. Brazil scored, Italy missed. Brazil scored again, Italy missed again. Italy was already behind. And then it was Roberto Baggio's turn. Brazil had just missed their previous penalty. The situation was simple. If Baggio scored, Italy stayed alive. If he missed, everything was over. Baggio picked up the ball. He walked toward the penalty spot. It was one of the loneliest walks in football history. Goalkeeper Claudio Taffarel waited on the line. The stadium fell silent. Italy held its breath. Baggio lifted his head, took a deep breath, and he struck the ball. It rose just a little too much, and not the crossbar, not the goal. The ball flew into the stands. The match was over. Brazil were world champions, and Roberto Baggio stood alone in the middle of the pitch. His head was down. He looked at no one. That was the moment a footballer's soul broke. People often say, a career doesn't end with one penalty. But for Roberto Baggio, it did. After that night, Baggio was never the same. Yes, he kept playing football. Yes, he kept scoring goals. But he was no longer a hero. He became the man who missed the penalty. In Italy, that moment was replayed for years. Newspapers wrote about it. Pundits talked about it, and no one asked the real question. Who carried Italy to that final? No one remembered this. Without those goals before the final, that penalty would never have existed. Years later, Roberto Baggio said, "That penalty is part of my life. I cannot escape it, but I am not only that moment." But football is unforgiving, and sometimes it reduces an entire career to a single image. Roberto Baggio never won the World Cup, but he remains one of the most elegant players football has ever seen. And maybe his story reminds us of one thing. Football loves to celebrate heroes just as much as it loves to destroy them. This was not the story of a match, but of a moment. This was case file number 01. Roberto Baggio. One penalty and a dream that ended.